Warm good evening to each one of you. We are thrilled to welcome you to a brand new episode of Bridging Paths. Thank you so much for registering and taking the time to join us today for this interactive podcast.
And we are especially excited to kick off this series over Zoom. It gives us a chance to connect and to interact more openly with all of you. And trust us when we say that we have been waiting. We were missing this interaction when we were there on LinkedIn Live.
Yeah.
So we were really missing this interaction, and it feels so good that now we'll be able to interact. So please use this forum for an open discussion and interaction. Just before we begin, let's set the tone with a few simple curtsies to help make this session smooth and meaningful for everyone. English would be good if it's on YouTube. All right. Thank you so much, Shipra, for that. Taken into account. All right. Coming back to a few pointers which are crucial. First, please stay on mute unless you are speaking. Just raise your hand if you would like to share. Second, let's be respectful and open to different perspectives. Let's agree to disagree with each other on any point. Avoid speaking over one another so everyone feels heard. Ensure your surroundings are quiet when it's your turn to speak. If you are comfortable, we would like to see you. Feel free to keep your cameras on, or if you're not, cameras off also is okay. Thank you so much, Bhanumati ji, for switching it on. We will be having Q&A segment towards the end, so feel free to note down your thoughts and questions as we go along. Even in the middle, if you feel that you want to interact with us, please feel free to use the chat box. We are going to, if not immediately, but definitely will address your concerns as we go, as we move ahead.
Wonderful. Before we dive in, take a moment to think about a recent argument or an emotional exchange you had with someone close to you. क्लोज टू यू मतलब कोई भी अपना जो पेरेंट्स हो या बच्चे हो और फ्रेंड्स हो, क्लोज फ्रेंड्स हो, स्पाउसेस, कोई भी. नाउ जेंटली आस्क योरसेल्फ, वेर यू ट्राइंग टू फिक्स थिंग्स सो द मोमेंट डिडंट फॉल अपार्ट. ऐसा कभी आप सिचुएशन आया है कि यू वांटेड टू फिक्स थिंग्स, आप सॉल्यूशन देना चाहते हैं instead of I mean thinking that everything will. Yeah, please.
Solution dena चाहते हैं या कोई भी ऐसी. So when we are saying that think of an emotional exchange you had,
Correct.
It could be anything. Let's not go and think of big arguments or big stuffs that might have happened. It could be even a very small emotional trigger for any one of you. Please
Absolutely.
reflect on that.
Absolutely.
And then just keeping that in mind, see how did you respond. So where you're trying to fix things, कुछ भी हो जाए, बस ये situation को संभालना है अभी.
सही है.
Keeping your emotions aside, keeping everything aside, just focus on taking care of the moment. Even if you feel unheard, that's fine. Whatever the thing is, you just need to take care of the situation.
Correct.
Whether that has been your response
और ऐसा भी है, like where you feeling hurt, maybe even ignored. आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आप you are feeling ignored by someone. So वैसा भी हो सकता है. कोई भी इंसिडेंट आप सोच सकते हो and you can share it or just think about it. Or did you find yourself pointing fingers at someone because it felt safer than being honest about how you truly felt? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just take a pause here so that all of us can reflect that Correct. What exactly do we do when we are in a situation that triggers us emotionally. One, whether we try to fix things up no matter what. Second, whether we feel that we are hurt, we are broken, why it's always me who falls into this trap. Third, we try to, not we try, we actually point the finger to other and say, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah.
It's you who does or everything that's wrong. It's because of you,
Yeah.
not me. So
हमारे
please
जितने भी
think.
एक्टिविटी होता है सबसे ज्यादा शायद पॉइंटिंग फिंगर तो ज्यादा ही होता है नॉर्मली पर
To
या
each its own.
या
So
करेक्ट
just keep that in mind as we proceed.
या एंड
Once you are done, just show us a thumbs up so that we can go move forward.
करेक्ट करेक्ट एंड इफ यू लाइक यू कैन शेयर योर थॉट्स इन द चैट बॉक्स अगर आप सोच के बता सकते हैं चैट बॉक्स में और सिंपली जॉट देम डाउन फॉर योरसेल्फ इट्स जस्ट अ वे टू स्टे प्रेजेंट and reflect as we move through this conversation together.
Okay, we have not received any thumbs up, so we do not know whether the activity is done or not. So yes, Bhanumati ji is
Anumati
showing us a
ji.
thumbs up. Thank you. Kalpana, Shipra, Jesudas, and Meeta. Meeta, you have joined
Welcome,
late.
welcome.
A bit late, I wouldn't say late.
Yes, hi, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
All right. So let's proceed here. So when we are talking about these emotional loops, they don't show up in big fights, only big fights.
Yeah.
They show up in little things also. So imagine a scenario where you and your partner have both been caught up with work. बहुत busy थे आप लोग, एकदम time नहीं मिला, and you text them. You text them during lunch, and hours later, not even immediately, hours later, you get a response, and the only response that you get is busy, talk to you later. So later that evening, once you finally sit together to have that discussion, when you really want to bring the entire conversation up of what went wrong. So imagine that scenario and imagine how that conversation starts. So just an instant where the person who feels that he called or she called and was not answered, the call wasn't answered, might go like, do you realize what you have done? Do you realize that I message you every time and you are the one who doesn't respond to my messages? Is that how the conversation begins? And as soon as this tone comes out, the other person says, you hear the volume go low, and the other person responds like, why are you doing that to me? Why do you think I'll do anything that's intentional? You know it. I am busy. And snap. What do you think? I'm free? I have the entire time in the world to message you, and you don't have time? Is that what you're trying to put across? And as the conversation gets heated, the other person who's at the receiving end, the volume, the tone, everything starts getting lower. Why me? Why it has to come down to me every time? You know, I've been working hard to get the position that I had. Still, you're pointing it out. And slowly, without even realizing, tears start rolling down the cheeks. As soon as that happens, the other person who was till now shouting all of a sudden changes and says, oh, I didn't mean to hurt you. You're taking it all wrong. Let me do one thing. Let's start again. Let me tell you. And as soon as the other person mellows down, the person who was listening to the entire conversation goes, now let it be. I don't want to talk to you. So if you can visualize this entire exchange of communication, what do you think just happened? What exactly? And first of all, before we talk about what happened, can you relate? Is it relatable? Do you feel that, does that ring a bell that, yeah, that's somewhat, maybe not in your life, maybe you have heard or come across such situation or scenarios? So if yes, so Kalpana shows a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kalpana. Even Bhanumati ji shows a thumbs up. So, yeah. Now, Chiradeep, would you let us know what exactly it is?
There is a message from Kalpana also.
Okay.
When we asked about those questions, she said, my initial response is to point out, but when things don't seem to work, I give silent treatment.
Kalpana, bravo to your honesty. Thank you. So I hope when you have this response in your mind, towards the end of the session, you are able to make some sense of what we are trying to put across.
Yeah. Now you have heard Niti giving you different scenarios, day-to-day life, बहुत सारा scenarios, Niti. Now, what are we really trying to highlight here? Back in 1968, Stephen B. Kaufman introduced a concept called the drama triangle, a social model that explores how people interact during conflict. Okay. It shows us how we sometimes fall into unhelpful patterns. ठीक है, हम लोग का रोजमर्रा जिंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ करते रहते हैं, कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स का टाइम में, एंड सडनली वी without being aware we fall into a pattern, unhelpful. Okay. और जब तक सेल्फ अवेयरनेस नहीं होता, हम लोग ये जहन में हम लोग रियलाइज नहीं करते what kind of patterns we are following. And these unhelpful patterns, they take different roles, like the victim, the rescuer, or the persecutor. Our aim today is to break this down in a way that's simple and relatable, so we can each start noticing, where do we usually operate from? कौन सा रोल में मैं एक्ट कर रहा हूं? Now, as Kalpana comments, my initial response is to point out, but when things don't seem to work, I give silent treatment. वो कैसा रोल था? We will explore. And more importantly, how can we shift that pattern? As the pattern is unhelpful, we will definitely like to shift from that pattern and go to something a better, or we should be following a better pattern. Right, Niti?
Absolutely. So interestingly, this is the drama triangle. Let's understand, we all are dramatic in our lives, whether we want to agree or we do not want to agree. And the three key roles that we play, as Chiradeep pointed out, is victim, persecutor, and rescuer. And we have come here because I could realize from my personal life that where did I fall in this angle? Which angle is my base? And I'm going to share that story with all of you. That what I realized. And why it is important for us to understand first the role of these three angles, victim, persecutor, and rescuer, for self-awareness. So only once I know that who am I, where do I fall, why is it that I behave in a certain way. So only once I am able to realize it, that's when we are able to break that cycle. Okay. So yes, I used to slip in a self-pity mode a lot. So no matter whatever was happening around me, I would say I waited for people to come and rescue me. I never used to take the charge of what's happening around me. And anyone who used to come and say, who are you? No matter how it sounds right now that it is powerless statement or how could I hear it. But trust me when I say these two words were the best words anybody could give me because that validated, that made me feel that I am seen. That made me feel that somebody somewhere cares for me. So it made me feel seen, though I was stuck, but I did not realize it. And and it also kind of relieved me because I was not taking care or taking charge of my own life. I would easily shift the blame either on the people around me or to the universe, that why am I the chosen one by the universe and why me this has to happen. So now may I ask, what role do you people think I was playing in that drama triangle? Like, if you want, you can unmute and tell me if you can relate to what role did I play. So I'll just repeat the drama triangle role. That is victim, rescuer, and persecutor. So Bhanumati ji says victim. Absolutely. That's who I was. Hopeless, powerless, unaware that what am I going to do with my life and why should I do it? There will be somebody, some God sent person who's come and take me along.
Thank you so much, Niti, for revealing your personal story. That's a bold step. You know, even the victim role seems to come with a few benefits. You don't have to fix anything. You get to complain. And you naturally attract rescuers, as you said. You are seeking some rescuers to come and rescue you. But there's a price too. You begin to believe that change is always outside your control. You are seen as ineffective. And let's be honest, no one really enjoys being around someone who constantly whines. Nobody. Now, let me take a moment to be vulnerable. If Niti has shared as a co-host of Bridging Paths, I should be sharing something. It's not easy, but here goes. Now it's easy because I have come out of that trap. I have been dealing with a medical condition since childhood. Over time, I came to terms with it and accepted it as part of who I am. In some way, that made me deeply empathetic, especially toward others dealing with health issues. So I started being there for people because I have suffered, I have gone through pain, I have seen pain closely. So whenever मैं जब भी कोई बीमार व्यक्ति को देखता हूँ या somebody who is suffering, कोई दुख दर्द में जा रहा है, तो easily I used to connect with them and try to be the rescuer. I would take it upon myself. It's my responsibility, not yours. Okay. I would often go out of my way, even ignore my own needs. And on some days, I would say, I am so drained, I have helped 2 or 3 people. Okay, बहुत ज़्यादा, I used to overdo. So one of my sisters said, Dada, you are overdoing things. I clearly remember. She isn't here. But
Really, he pointed out.
yeah, she literally pointed out. And I realized that I am overdoing.
Okay.
Okay, I wasn't a life coach, so I don't know how to shift. I just realized that, yes, I am overdoing. I just controlled, I just suppressed it. There was no transformation because I did not know where to go. Okay. I was still that same old rescuer. But even that complaint felt like even that complaint that comes within myself, felt like a positive one because I believed I was doing good. Even if I'm drained, listening to 2 or 3 people, okay, that gave me a good feel good factor within me. Okay. Now, what role do you think I was playing? in the chat box, you can just message. Though I have already told.
Okay, we'll wait for a few responses here. Listening to Chiradeep's story.
I know Bhanumati ji will quickly give that role.
Use the chat box.
The role. I know. Even I'm sure Abhijit Paranjape and two Abhijits are there. So I would request if Bhanumati ji and Abhijit to hold back and let others guess, then they can.
You're asking them to hold back and asking others to respond. Is that?
Yeah, a little bit. Because I feel, Abhijit, I know, but Bhanumati ji already is proactive. And the words she used initially, it's still ringing in my ears. She will definitely answer it, I know. Yeah.
No, actually, I've been drilled into learning transactional analysis. This one, victim rescuer and all, it comes from that, and NLP, it's going around in my head. Anyway, carry on. I'll not disturb you.
You guessed it already. You already said it. So anybody, Kalpana? Okay, no responses yet. Yeah, Niti, you were saying something. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, so we know, and Chiradeep already said that it was rescuer. So what's the upside of being rescuer? You feel morally superior.
Yeah.
When we help, because somewhere it is grilled in us that whenever we help, we extend some kind of support to others. That means we are doing good.
Yes.
And when coming into that role of continuous goodness, you go ahead, you keep helping others. You feel morally superior than others. Secondly, you believe that you are always needed. People around you, they need you all the time. And people rely on you. So you feel you are trustworthy, you're superior, you are required, you are getting all the attention that you want, or that feels you, again, seen. But what is the price that you pay? As soon as people reject your help, they do not accept it, because not everybody is happy you meddling into their life. As soon as that happens, you fall from rescuer to being a victim. So as Chiradeep also mentioned, there were a few complaints. He was tired. He used to say that I am tired, but because of helping others. But that complaint, that every time people come and ask help from me, is also a mode of a victim. So you unintentionally create victims and keep the drama triangle alive. That's the key. A rescuer to feel the need of feeling heard. For their validation of emotion, they create victims around them. So let's wait. Over time, what do? We are constantly surrounded by people who are dependent on us. So when we are dependent, when people get dependent on us, our energy is drained. And before you know, you are carrying weight of others and you do not even realize what you have signed up for. So that's rescuer for all of you. And before we continue, 2 hands are up. Bhanumati ji.
Actually, this superiority complex is also a part of inferiority complex. You feel inferior and you camouflage it. And the moment you said, I'm doing this and all, it's your way of telling yourself, no, no, I'm not inferior. See, I'm rescuing her. That it's actually inferiority complex. Ego के दो जुड़े हुए बच्चे हैं. One is inferiority complex, the other one is superiority complex, but they are twins, a part of inferiority complex. So it's just a camouflaging of inferiority complex, nothing else.
Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. Abhijit. Oh, you raised your hand.
Yeah. Yes. So I had. So first of all, sorry to join late. What
I
Bhanumati
am
said, I
sorry.
think,
Is that
yeah.
only me who cannot hear
No,
him?
no, I can't hear Abhijit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
All right, thank you. Okay, sorry for being late, first of all, but yes, what Bhanumati just now said, I think I agree with her. There's nothing called superiority complex. The only thing that I want to add is I do know about this triangle, right? The drama triangle. With being the continuous rescuer or having that feeling that I'm a continuous rescuer, I think the switch that, so Neeti, the way you were saying that switch happens to be a victim sometimes as well. I would look at it more from a persecutor thing that मैं बोल रहा हूँ मेरा किसी ने सुना नहीं nobody took, let's say somebody did not take my help, then I actually say like नहीं सुना ना अब देख तेरा कैसा होगा, now see you will what will happen, right? It would goes into that more blame game. Or if that result doesn't happen because I said something, let's say I said something, and let me just take a name here, Kalpana did not listen. Now I'm a rescuer, right? Continuous rescuer, and Kalpana did not listen to my thing, and then Kalpana did something on her own, got a different result. I'll be very quick to blame her and say, Suna nahi na mera.
yeah,
Because she didn't listen, this is what the thing is.
yeah.
So it is a swaying effect between being a victim and more being
Mhm.
a persecutor as well, is what I feel sometimes. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all I want.
correct. You're right.
Hmm.
Yes, we are coming there. We are coming there. Yeah.
Right.
So, like, before we move on to the third one, let's take a moment to pause and reflect. We did a lot. Can you think of a time when you may have taken on the role of a victim? Anyone? Or perhaps someone in your life who tends to operate from that space?
Okay, we see two hands going up, Bhanumati ji and Abhijit, both of them. Yes,
That's
Bhanumati
why
ji, would you? Yes.
Eric Burney rightly said the games we people play. I play this game a lot to my benefit. I play the victim card and I get all that. It's a manipulative game I love to play. But of course, I know, but I play it consciously. It's not that I go on a victim mode and play. No, when I want to get the, and I think most of the women in this group, they will be able to relate to that. Is the Brahmastra we all have when we want to get things done. We play the victim card. So I think that's why Eric Burney called it games people play. Rightly, I think. Carry on.
Absolutely.
It's good that
Thank you, Bhanumati.
without us blaming you, you are accepting it. That's a joke. That's just a joke, not a problem. Okay. So, yeah. Now ask yourself, do you often find yourself stepping in to solve others' problems? Taking on their responsibilities like their own? Anyone? Yes, Avijit says yes.
Yeah,
I have already shared. Yeah, Avijit, please.
yeah, you used to do that a lot,
Yeah,
uh, especially before I got into coaching. I used to do that a lot, and that
yeah,
again came from that victim card that I used to play before. I
yeah.
was pessimistic to the level of,
Mm,
if I have to, and this is not a joke, I was pessimistic and we used to play a victim card to the level of there's rainy season.
mm,
I go out without wearing the rain coat or rain suit,
mm,
and rain pours down. And the next day I go with the rain suit on and there is no rain. I get wet because of the sweat. And then I used to say, "Bhi, देखो मेरे साथ कितना बुरा होता है." Even though rain, has a conspiracy theory against me to that
mm,
level.
mm,
So that automatically put me later into a rescuer mode. If I see somebody even saying something bad is happening with me, and if
mm,
that person is sharing with me, right? And this, I have seen that this is one thing that we all of us do. When I get calls nowadays for coaching and everything, I've seen one thing commonly said by a lot of people that I don't know why, but people just come and share things with me. And I've seen a lot of people saying this. They feel good about it. I get that. But sometimes I feel it's one of the things that sometimes we overrate by saying, मैं ऐसा हूँ, पता नहीं, मैं अट्रैक्ट करता हूँ लोगों को. People just come and start to tell me a lot of things, and automatically because someone has said me, I assume the responsibility कि अब मेरे को ही solve करना है ये सब. And that is where very naturally I used to fall into that trap, and I'm going to call it a trap because immediately the relatability used to be like, हाँ मेरे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ था. So if somebody is telling me, that means, and someone up there is sending me a signal that somebody is telling me something relatable to me, that means I'm the one who should be resolving.
Correct. Correct.
Agony uncle.
Yes, 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 Bhanumati, and I'm going to judge you for calling me uncle anyway, but yes, agony uncle. Oh, you call me uncle, I'm going to use that victim card now. Thank you. Yeah, see what I mean? All right, follow.
Yeah. The whole discussion actually, like if I summarize it, we can see that the truth is we don't stick to just one role. That's what we are discussing. We keep slipping from this role to that. When I used to play the rescuer, I would often find myself slowly sliding into victim mode. Okay, not slowly. Pretension बहुत रहता है. As Bhanumati ji said, वो superiority complex and inferiority complex and pretension, ये सब कुछ एक साथ एक्टिवेट होता है. वो रियलाइजेशन नहीं था. अभी आइडेंटिफाई कर पा रहा हूं. As Abhijit said, it's easier to identify now because we understand it. But that time, no clue what is happening, what pattern I'm following. Okay. Complaining about how drained I felt, that's victim mode. Hoping someone would notice and sympathize. Even Avijit said so. And that's the thing, this triangle isn't fixed. It's dynamic and at times quite vicious. Right?
Absolutely. एकदम vicious. So वो triangle में हम लोग एक vicious circle create कर देते हैं. So though it's a drama triangle, but yes. So we are left, we have already spoken about rescuer and victim. So I know you all are here, a stupid quiz. What are we left with? The third angle, what was it? Anyone who remembers?
Yeah, Avijit has
Persecutor.
mentioned. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Persecutor. So at least Bhanumati ji and Abhijit, both of you are making us feel that if not every, and of course Shipra, who's been messaging, who's there very much active on chat. So thank you for letting us know that you people are there with us. So the last one, persecutor, and as the word sounds, I believe that some traits are already there in our mind. What is it that we can relate with the term persecutor? What is it? Come on. Again, what do you think? What do you think could it be? When we hear the term persecutor?
Bullying.
Okay.
Okay.
Bullying. Meeta says accusing.
Unleash discomfort for others, Avijit Das says.
Pointing fingers. Absolutely. Yes. And interestingly, so when we say pointing fingers, and somewhere we also understand that even victim punishing ourselves. Yes. Thank you. Everyone is giving their like now everyone is contributing. Feels really good. So now, even if we relate during when we were speaking about victim, even victim were pointing fingers at others, people around us. So the difference here majorly is that the persecutors believe that they are surrounded by fools and idiots. Everybody is a fool or is an idiot who just do not know how things should be done. And that's one of the major reasons they have to step in and do things. Right? They do not find any fault with themselves. Everything happens is because of others and simply because they're not good enough. They are just not good enough. So as we can understand, and as all of you mentioned, that people who are persecutors, they operate from control, dominance, anger, aggression, again superiority to make the other person feel inferior, lower to them, Also, I can say that and what's the price that they pay here? So they first take the burden, as they do not trust people easily, so they want to take the responsibility that let me handle. क्योंकि मेरे से अच्छा तो कोई handle कर ही नहीं सकता. I am perfect. And straight away, what are they doing? They end up creating victims. So if we go back and if we the small scenario that I was talking about in the very beginning, where a person doesn't message. So what exactly happened? As soon as you do not receive a message, you start blaming the other person by saying that you do not care for me. So that is how you try to dominate. So as soon as that domination happens, the person who is at the receiving end says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Why are you doing it? So always a persecutor is on the outlook of a victim. And a victim in turns look for a rescuer. So that's how we create a triangle. I hope this makes sense. Now, as a persecutor, people might fear you, but they would again not like to spend time with you because they just don't trust you. Hence, a persecutor, you will find persecutors to feel isolated, alone, and even they are unable to trust people in return. How does that sound? Now the drama triangle is complete. And Chiradeep, may I ask you to show us that drama triangle here? You're on mute.
Yes, yes.
So with this, when we have completed, so let's just have a look of how that drama triangle looks like.
While I share, uh, can you please read out the comments some
Yes.
people have given?
So Shipra says, victim always are attention seeker, only to make sure they are in the limelight. Sometimes the snooze of rope gets tight. Thank you for sharing that, Shipra.
Okay. This drama triangle is actually by Stephen Kaufman. And as we
It's
have
not a
sorry,
when we decided to take up, we thought that it is a very complex subject, but we hope that we are able to simplify as much as we could.
yeah,
So here goes the first angle of the drama triangle, which is victim,
yeah,
feels powerless, blames for unmet needs. In a rush, here comes Chiradeep. So that's me. Rushing towards me is the rescuer Chiradeep. Over gives help, avoids own issues.
yes. And the third one is persecutor.
Controls harshly, criticizes often. So
Yeah,
this completes our triangle.
yes.
This
You
is
can
the
see that.
drama triangle.
Yeah. I just remember one funny incident, like in my at my workplace when I was at work, the board asked our one of our bosses. There are many bosses, so the board asks, please don't see everything. Micromanager मत बनो, ठीक है? ये टेबल कहाँ रहना है, चेयर कहाँ रहना है, and that person used to literally, I mean, does everything, literally wants to control everything, as if चेयर कैसे रखना है वो भी वो डिसाइड करेगा. So I just remembered how the persecutor they work, how that role in a person makes that person I mean, people literally don't like that attitude. No, I just remember
Agree?
that
Yeah, because I'll tell you from the time I understood this trauma triangle and I read about it.
Yeah.
Whenever I move, I talk to people, I try to fit them with their reactions, the way they talk. I always feel that which angle do they belong to? Where do they fit in? Because somewhere or the other, we happen to emote those traits in our conversations as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you are quick because if you are aware, you know it, then you are quick, you are able to recognize it, that where this person is falling, and of course, where am I falling in that triangle? Self-awareness is the key because until and unless that's one of the major reasons that we are talking about it, because only when we are aware that this is how I behave, this is where I fall, this is my pattern, we'll able to get up, understand, brush it off, and see what next to do.
A question, if I may ask.
Of course.
I have a question. Uh, I was thinking, we also change that. I mean, we shift our roles from victim to not victim, rescuer to like it also persecutor and victim. It also depends on the person we are interacting with. Okay, like family members के साथ we are more open, so we become a persecutor at times. Okay,
Yes.
but for outsider we become rescuer. I have received that complaint from my family member. Like outside में आप सबका सुन लेते हो करते हो, but for me you are trying to like overpower me and control me like that. I have I have received that feedback from one of my family members. So what do you think?
So Chiradeep, I really hope that after this podcast, you're not supposed to hear this complaint.
No, not now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a past one.
Okay, there are two hands, Bhanumati ji and Abhijit. So one by one,
I
Bhanumati ji.
know inside your house, your core trait is projected, and outside it is your surface trait that gets projected. Impress karna hai.
Yeah,
I understood.
you can see so. Yeah, Abhijit.
Yeah, I think rather than even putting us into roles, what happens is वो जो होता है ना, that this is my house, this is my
Correct.
space where I can be me. I
Yeah,
don't have to filter out while I speak and while I act in a certain way. And if यहाँ पे भी filter करना पड़ रहा है, then what's the use of calling it my house?
being at
I
home.
think
Yeah,
yeah, naturally the tone that comes out. So in that case, I guess again, I'll rather than putting it on where with whom I do it, I'll put it in the context of it rather than the people in front of me. I'll still put it in the context. I'll give a very quick example of my own father. The way his tone comes out, right? He may mean well, or rather very well, but the way his tone comes out is majority times of a persecutor.
yeah.
Because the way he talks, it feels that मैं जो सामने खड़ा हूँ, whatever age I am, because मेरे बाप के लिए तो मैं हमेशा बच्चा ही रहूंगा.
Yeah,
Whether I become 40, 50, because he is also going to grow old. So every time I speak up, I am made feel, and that I was made feel for till a certain time that नहीं अभिजीत तुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है because तूने दुनिया देखी नहीं है जितना मैंने देखा. Now
correct.
that his tone has always made me look at him that way, right? So I'll hence now if I switch roles, I'll put myself into this, that rather than the person opposite, I'll say the context. Let's look at the context in this and the situation in which we are, behaving. That's it from a self-awareness perspective.
Yeah, very right, very right.
So listening and being able to hear all of you speak, I guess the idea of switching to Zoom was a superb idea.
Yeah,
Where we can hear. So it's not that we are just sharing what we understood. We are getting to learn so many things from all of you. So
absolutely.
thank you for that.
I'm not missing LinkedIn anymore.
Not at all.
And Shipra says this is known as narcissist behavior. Okay. The person will always try to be victim, also make sure you are in guilt and apologize. Thank you. And Mita is leaving, but she says, great discussion, interesting and thought-provoking. Need to leave. No. Okay. ठीक है, moving
Okay.
ahead.
Chiradeep, let's move because I see the time
Yeah,
and people are here sitting almost for an hour,
yeah,
and we need to give them what we want to, because we are not going to leave them on a negative note of the drama triangle.
yeah. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. You know, this triangle isn't just for dramatic moments. This is how we end up creating gossip circles too, right? Let's say your boss or your parent has go at you. Okay, you storm off, not to talk it out, but to find your trusted sidekick, your colleague or your sibling. And what do they say? I know, that's so typical of them. Boom, triangle activated. होता रहता है ना? Is it relatable? So what just happened? The persecutor, your boss or your parent, made you feel like a victim, and you ran straight to your rescuer for a pat on the back and maybe a brownie. Not literally. Instead of having a real, honest conversation with the person who hurt us, we start acting out a drama with side characters, emotional build-up, and zero resolution. And that, my friends, is human nature, says psychology. Pretty relatable, right? If you're thinking, okay, this is so me, just pop up with a yes in the chat box. And while you are at it, how many of you are wondering if there's actually a way out of this triangle? You know, we are not going to put you in that triangle forever. We will definitely try to bring you out, to break that cycle and come out, you know. So any messages, any comments?
It's very interesting and it's a wonderful coincidence. Actually, on 12th, I'll be holding a webinar under an organization called Personality Care Foundation, where my topic is how to draw boundaries and assertive communication. And interestingly, with another organization, today we had a discussion on triangle, not TA triangle, it's Bowen's theory. And I would also be using extensively that in while drawing your boundaries and assertiveness. So I was finding it, how is it that everything is coming today to me? Because when you transition from transactional analysis to Bowen's theory of triangle, I was surprised. Oh, from where to where you are going, and it is coming closer to my webinar actually, which I'll be holding. So, if you want me to share, I can share. For this, you need to draw your boundaries, and then you need to differentiate yourself, and then not get enmeshed, and then assertive communication. All this comes to that. Is it going towards that end? Because we have almost come to the end of the session. So it's
Okay.
very interesting.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And we appreciate. And as I said, Bhanumati ji, you joining in itself is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So right now we'll just break this loop and we'll find out an exit from here. So
Yeah.
thankfully this exit was given to us by David Emerald and Donna. They stepped in with something that is called the empowerment dynamic, TED in short. So what they did was, I found it pretty interesting because they did not even try to get rid of that triangle. Instead, what they did was they flipped the role.
Yeah.
So they gave new roles there, and
flipped
first of
the
all,
triangle as well.
they flipped the triangle as well. So it was a reverse triangle. They straightened the triangle.
Yes.
And here, why I have been talking about self-awareness, because only once we recognize where exactly I fall in that triangle. So with that flipped role, I know how should I act, or I recognize. So for me, when I recognize that I act as a victim most of the time, with TED, that is the empowerment dynamic, I knew what would be my role and how is it that I need to behave now. So it took a little while, I would say, but now I feel I am in the journey. I would not say I have mastered it, but yes, the journey is still ongoing.
Yeah, you can actually share the shift
The shift,
from
okay,
victim to where?
creator.
Yes.
So
Wow.
the victim becomes the creator. So now it's the 3 C's we are going to talk about in the triangle. The first C is the flip of victim to becoming a creator.
Yeah.
Now, creator, someone who takes charge, looks for choices, and believes in finding solution instead of staying stuck. As soon as I recognized that me playing that victim card was increasing, secondly, it was not helping me any which way.
Correct.
There, I could see myself flipping, taking charge of my life, making the choices, and just taking that risk of working on those choices and not, I would say, not attaching myself to the outcome, just giving myself a try. So that's how I would say that I learned a lot by
Yeah.
doing mistakes, by falling, and then
Yeah.
rising again.
Yes. And the next role is the rescuer turns into a coach. Chiradeep, from a rescuer, he turned into a coach. Yeah, not the coach, life coach. It's not about that life coach thing or communication coach. It's a coach. Okay, as David and Donna says. So as soon as Nitish shared, as soon as I realized that instead of uh, jumping into the solution for someone else, if I can partner with him, ask question, make that person work for himself or herself, that saves my energy, that makes that person work for themselves. I mean, make those persons work for themselves, not to play victim, but they start from victim, they start to go to what Niti said it. They become
Creator.
creators. They become creators from victim. And as I transform my journey, I shift from being a rescuer to a coach. Okay. So rather than swapping into the fixed things, the coach empowers others, asks the right questions, as I said, and trust people to handle their own stuff. I did that. And it was such a great relief. I don't exert myself. I am not overburdened. Okay. And it's a great feeling that, okay, I partner with someone and made him or her understand her problem. उसका प्रॉब्लम जान के मेरा क्या होगा? I will inject my solution from my experience, which will not work for that person. But now it works. And that person is happy. He or she is not playing the victim card. Okay. Next one. Niti, if you can manage that. Yeah.
Of course, why not? So the last one, persecutor taking the role of the challenger.
Yes.
So challenger who's not there to blame you, but to push you towards your growth. So that's the flip. Now here we had the drama triangle, victim, rescuer, persecutor. Now we have the empowerment dynamic, which is creator, coach, and the challenger.
Yes.
Just to bring this role into perspective, there was the scenario. I'll just take you back to the scenario that we spoke about earlier, where we mentioned a couple scenario where a person was busy, then they messaged, and after a long while, they received a reply which was talk to you later.
Yes.
And then, as soon as you say talk to you later, There was a scenario where we played the drama triangle: persecutor, victim, and rescuer. So now, if I take the talk about the same scenario, and this time, rather than enacting it all alone, where I would request a volunteer, and who better than the most, apart from Bhanumati ji, the second most active person here, Abhijit Pranjpe. Would you mind playing that role with me?
1 minute, 1 minute. Niti,
I
I
don't
just
mind,
want to
but
clarify. 1 second. When you said victim is changing to a creator, you mean to say that the victim starts taking responsibility for oneself? That's
Yes,
Yes,
where the
yes,
becomes a creator? Okay,
yes.
thank you.
yes, yes.
yeah, I don't mind doing the role play. Are we good with the time for from others' perspective? I'm just making
Yes,
sure.
yes, I would also want to ask them, because I know, first of all, we started off late. Shipra is already giving us yes, we can go ahead. So we'll try. Uh, can we take another 10 minutes to close? Is everybody okay with another 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes only. I have to leave now. Oops.
Yes, Kalpana, we are really sorry, and as well as we are thankful to you for being a part and joining. Thank you so much.
But it's not a problem because I am recording it, so it will be live. It won't be live. The recorded videos will be
So Kalpana
on
wants to say
YouTube and
something
LinkedIn. Yeah.
before. Yes, Kalpana wants to say something before
Hi,
she. Yes, Kalpana.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Of
yes.
course we can. Yes.
Okay, so please don't say sorry. I'm really sorry I have to leave a little bit early due to some issues with kids. So it was a wonderful discussion. I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of it and looking forward to more such discussions with wonderful people like you and Abhijit ji, Bhanumati ji, Shipra ji. It's amazing. So it was nice. So I take a leave now. I'm really sorry for leaving a little bit early.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kalpana. Just one request. Next time, please remove the G after my name. I would really appreciate that. Thanks.
I was about to say the same thing. Like we
Yeah,
are sailing in the same boat,
yeah.
like
Let's not do
uncle and
G's
auntie.
You can
and
Okay.
call him
nah, nah.
uncle.
Let's not do
You can
G's and
call him
Y's and X.
Avani uncle.
हाँ जो बुलाना है बुलाओ जी मत बुलाओ
जी
भानुमति
बुलाने
I'll
से
come to you after
ठीक है,
about that uncle
certainly.
thing later चलो cool
जी बुलाने
most
से
welcome
अंकल
Cool,
वाला
cool, cool.
एक्टिवेटेड हो जाता है क्या? Anyway, that's just a joke.
Sure. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, chalo. Bye.
Bye
bye
bye.
bye
Bye. Thank you so
Yes,
much, Kalpana, once again.
yes.
So
Bye.
yes, Abhijit. Um, do you want me to tell you the scenario again, or are you there with me?
no I do I've heard the scenario right now when you just kind of repeated that scenario so who's going to play that person who replied saying talk to you later is all my question is
I'll
okay
do
so
that.
I'm okay I messaged you and you
Yes,
said talk to you later and now we are looking it from the uh, creator challenger and coach perspective
exactly.
okay okay
Okay. So
so rather
just
than making you feel that ऐसे कैसे कर दिया I have to take some role either the coach or the challenger right that's up to
absolutely.
me
Yes, yes.
all right. Whenever you are ready
All set?
all right hi Niti how was your day
Kind of hectic, Abhijit, the usual one.
yeah but now that you know the recent promotion that you got and you're started to manage the team and everything first time you're kind of doing people management so how does it feel
It is tiring. I tell you, every time I am so conscious that I'm surrounded with new people. So yeah, trying to adjust to it.
yeah I understand that I mean not to blow my own trumpet but yes I because I've been doing people management for a while I do understand that this thing Niti did you notice anything that has changed after this new role that you have taken let's say more on a personal front rather than professional
चेंज तो नहीं किया है अभिजीत, जैसे वी स्पोक, पर्दे चेंज करने नहीं किए, काफी सारी चीजें जो चेंज करनी है जो हो नहीं पा रही है,
right and
वहाँ
which is
थोड़ा
yeah sorry go on
वही वो थोड़ा सा लैगिंग हो रहा है पर्सनल फ्रंट में,
Yeah.
चेंज करना
And
तो बहुत.
that's operational, right? The changing the curtains and everything that can be taken care of maybe 4 days later as well. Uh, I want to know if you feel anything that has changed between us on a personal level when it comes to.
To be honest, I guess we are not able to spend the kind of time we were spending throughout the day.
Okay. And yeah, and when you say throughout the day, those very small check-in messages with each other, and that's it really, right? May seem a trivial thing that what are you up to? How is the day going? Are you having your lunch or not? Blah blah blah. Very trivial things that may, but we used to do those check-ins right before, and which we are not able to. Yeah.
Yes, and it used to feel so good that you messaged and I could reply, or maybe I messaged asking you small things as you rightly mentioned. Did you have your lunch? How did
Or
it
whatever
go?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So if I have to be very honest, Niti, it's not. I just feel that I'm happy that you're also aware that this is something that has changed. Why do you think that has happened?
I would say more from my part, if I'll be very honest, because as I said, नए लोग बहुत कॉन्शियस हो जाते हैं कि कोई मेरे फोन पे चेक करेगा, बिकॉज प्रीवियसली आई वॉज अ मेंबर ऑफ द टीम. अब ऐसा लगता है आई एम द लीडर, आई एम मैनेजिंग पीपल, सो इट माइट नॉट लुक गुड. क्या इंप्रेशन क्रिएट करेंगे इफ आई एम ऑन द फोन एंड
No.
मैसेजिंग माई पार्टनर? सो आई फेल्ट
Oh,
दैट.
I get it. I get it. And given the fact that this is the first time you're probably getting into people management, I get where you're coming from. But uh, are we saying that we should be messaging each other during meetings and during work time, or when we used to message before?
लंच टाइम्स, कॉफी ब्रेक्स, आई गेस.
Right,
ये
right,
टाइम पे तो,
right.
मीटिंग पे तो कभी भी नहीं किया अभिजीत, का मॉन वो तो.
Exactly.
हाँ.
हाँ, मतलब वो तो बहुत ही पागलपंती होती है अगर मीटिंग में ही कर देते तो फिर तो सब लोग चढ़ ही जाते.
प्रमोशन कहाँ से
तो
होती
that is true, and that's
है?
exactly what my point is, Niti. Right? So the promotion actually gave you additional responsibilities, and when you say leading, you're leading people now. Um, I'm sure even your team members have partners, right? Whomsoever they are, they have partners. And uh, जब तू भी team member थी या अभी भी you might be observing that they do message at times. So when you say you're leading people, one of the main things that we also kind of promote is that work-life balance. When the break time is your break time, you can do whatever you want in that, whether you're with people or alone. Some people prefer to take breaks alone. So do you think it will, you know, two questions really, right, Niti? From their perspective, do you think this will really make a difference that nowadays you don't message your partner, which you used to do before, in front of the same people? You came from the same team, become a team manager. So tell me, how would that impression on a professional level and on a personal level? Now I'm getting all emotional about it, but I'll be honest that for me, unless I've spoken about this, I didn't know you were thinking like this. So what different, and if you're becoming aware of this, is there something else you want to do going in future so that there's no unnecessary misunderstanding created here? So two questions.
I am so sorry. I never thought from this perspective. ये ख्याल ही नहीं आया कि एज अ लीडर आई ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस, और हम तेरे को ही मैसेज नहीं कर रहे तो क्या बैलेंस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं? एंड व्हाट एम आई लीडिंग, लाइक व्हाट एम आई, हाउ एम आई सेटिंग अ गुड एग्जांपल अगर मेरी पर्सनल लाइफ सफर कर रही है तो? that's wrong on my part. That's absolutely. But yeah, I have to work on it, because had it been that I was not missing, but of course, as I said, I also miss those moments. और क्यों मिस कर रहे हैं बिना बात के उस प्रेशर में, जबकि वो प्रेशर है ही नहीं, हम ही ने क्रिएट करके रखा हुआ है, एंड आई कैन जस्ट लेट इट गो. आई एम सो ग्रेटफुल दैट, thank you for talking, thank you for bringing it out so well, thank
No,
you.
no, 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 no. You don't have to be that formal with me, Niti. That's my point. That because see, I knew you probably were also thinking about these things, but right now, with the way things are going with you in on your career front, maybe it's
Got up.
just that. So one has to talk. That's it. That's all I was getting at. Maybe that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you
Sehmat,
so
हो गया.
much. Thank you. I mean, wow. I feel so nice about it. I did not feel a victim at all. I actually felt that I could take the responsibility, take the charge, and start doing what I used to do. That is to message. Thank you for making me feel empowered. Yes, Shipra, you're on mute.
Yeah. Firstly, it was so amazingly done that I started imagining you both in a setup that, yeah, you got a promotion. And yeah, there is something which is really disturbing at professional and also personal end. Okay, तो वो imagination पूरा था. But in the end, uh, when Abhijit said that somebody has to, at least one person has to communicate. Okay, so that's where my question is that it's not only about the one person communicating, but also I think the second one, you means you did not even affirmed it whatsoever he was saying, but also you thought that no, I should really work upon it. It's not, you did not, you were not like neglecting anything, you were not at denial phase firstly. ठीक है, तो वन वे कम्युनिकेशन थोड़ा टफ हो जाता भी है. एज एक पॉइंट था कि वन वे कम्युनिकेशन एक वन हैज टू कम्युनिकेट व्हेन यू सेड थैंक यू सो मच, वन हैज टू कम्युनिकेट व्हेन अभिजीत सेड. तो ये थोड़ा सा मुझे लग रहा है कि लाइक सामने वाले हमेशा नहीं समझते हैं जैसे नीति ने समझा.
So
Can I
here
say?
is, yes, of course, Abhijit,
Sorry,
please.
sorry.
No,
So,
no.
Shipra, you are absolutely right. So, first of all, thank you for that feedback. मैं बहुत अच्छा एक्टर हूँ शिप्रा. तेरे को मैं एक ऐसे जोन में लेके जा सकता हूँ ना, मेरे एक्टिंग के साथ तू अभी तक जानती नहीं. But anyway, let's not get into that.
और
But
एक्चुअली
yeah,
मेरे
so
को
the
भी ये बोलना था, it was the energy that was given to me by him.
Yes.
all right. So Shipra, the thing is, I completely agree with what you're saying. Now, this is where we are getting at, right? The way I look at this discussion or any when I also do either coaching or training or as Bhanumati was saying, all the soft skills training part of it, assertiveness and boundaries and everything. See, the point is when you flip these roles, right? So let's look at it from our self progress perspective. अभी दुनिया की नहीं पड़ी है शिप्रा यहाँ पे, ठीक है? So at this moment, if right now I'm let's say having 10 conversations where I'm either of these roles, I am at loss on for all those 10 conversations. Let's put it that way to put it into a perspective. The moment I flip my role, even if I know that it also depends on the person or the context that we are speaking in. But the moment we
Right.
flip the role, even if out of those next 10 conversations, even if my two or three conversations go more on a positive note, seven still fail. That's okay, but that's still progress. And this is the progress we should be focusing on when it comes to self-awareness and self-development.
Right.
Because yes, context you have zero control, other person's reactions you have zero control. What you have control is on you. So
Yes.
when you talk about setting boundaries, the boundaries are for you, not for the other people, right? So for example, today I'll just give you one quick example and then I'll stop. Right now, if we two are talking and I start asking you a lot of personal questions, okay, you're answering. Now that's your choice, and I keep asking you personal questions. And the moment you ask me a personal question, I'm like, don't ask me personal questions, Shipra. I don't appreciate that. Then that's not boundary setting, right? I have to set my own boundaries by not doing something or doing something. So here we are talking about flipping the roles and work in our sanity or our mental peace that even if our 3 out of 10 conversations go successful, great है, बहुत अच्छी बात. 30% is a huge progress as compared to 0% before, to put it into a perspective. That's it I'm going to say, Shipra. Thank you.
I just want to say the shift was truly empowering. I mean, if someone wants to have an example of कैसे coaching sessions लिया जाता है and probing questions कैसे पूछा जाता है and the shift from rescuer to a coach, अभिजीत परांजपा के उनका एक्टिंग देखना चाहिए. ये तो एक्टिंग है, वो रियल लाइफ में भी यही करते हैं. I'm not talking about the acting. I'm talking about the coaching one.
नहीं नहीं चिरादी, दोनों के बारे में बात करो ना, करनी
जी
है
जी
तो
जी
ऐसे
जी,
एक के बारे
yes.
में करो.
He is
Thank you.
also I recently came to know that he is also a stage actor, theater actor. So I know I will definitely not going to witness it because I'm far away from that place. Yeah, but yeah, if I see some clippings, sometimes I will definitely upload. Okay. And the whole scenario which was projected before us, it was wonderful. And the behavioral trainer, Miss Shipra Jha, also said it spot on and wonderful. And so we wind up here. We are not going to drag more because we have discussed a lot of
I'm
value.
Bhanumati
sorry,
ji has
Bhanumati has
raised.
raised her hand
Yes,
for a
Yes,
yes.
very long time, by the
I'm
way.
coming to that.
yes.
Yes. Now we can have a little discuss. We have discussed a lot. So any questions? Yes, Bhanumati ji, please.
I want to ask Abhijit, are you in any way Sai Paranjpee's relative or what?
Oh,
Acting.
Bhanumati,
Anyway,
I
that's
wish I was. No, I'm not. But I wish I was. And a girl and a person like Sahi Paranspe, I would have been very happy and fortunate to be, right? But I'm
okay.
not.
Jokes apart, actually, I observed two things. Because I'm actually, I keep talking more about NLP. I observed that Niti was expanding her map. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And then Abhijit, as a coach, he was also empowering her, a little bit prodding rather than ordering to include ecology also in her success. Once you became the leader, like you were talking about work-life balance, we call it as ecological balance actually in NLP terms. So maybe he was uh, gently putting it for you to take care of your leadership success and blend it with ecology. That's what I observed. And of course, saw that you were, instead of going on an victim mode, you expanded your map.
Absolutely.
My
Absolutely.
observation.
Yes, yes, yes. That is the entire thing that we wanted to draw. That's why we call self-awareness. As soon as you know from where you operate. So I am just taking Abhijit, for instance, in the previous scenario, what he wasn't there, but if that time he was the persecutor who was questioning me that why did you message me, to changing his entire way of communication and bringing it down subtly by questioning or by probing me, by making me reflect on my change, my behavior. So that was the major change that he brought in his way of handling. And that's how even I could switch to being a creator more than a victim.
Right.
And I got suddenly confused. Parda kaha aa gaya? So I told
Sorry, I didn't get you, Bhanumati ji.
he was asking about the change, and you said curtain lagana hai and all.
अच्छा,
I was wondering, parda curtain kahan se aa gaya is?
वो
ये
ओवर
चीज कुछ
एक्टिंग
भी
कहते हैं
बोलते कभी
उसको.
कभी, वो ओवर
Oh,
एक्टिंग करती है बहुत.
Before you said, I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Here, first of all, I know we have taken extra time, so we would thank you very much. And I'm not even asking you for feedback. I guess Chiradeep has already shared a feedback form in the chat box. Please do fill that for us. It would be wonderful. And we are ready to wrap up the drama triangle and the TED. So if there is anything that you would want us to take, like us to know, please feel free to tell us. And any topic that you would want us to take up in the next podcast, please message us, give us your suggestion. We would love to take that up.
Actually, if they fill out the form, feedback form, it's everything
Okay.
is there. Yeah.
All right.
Even the topic suggestions questionnaire is also there. So thank you so much for joining us. And this discussion is way better than LinkedIn mute session. This is more interacting session.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining, especially Avijit, because it was really nice. It was really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. We are
everyone
also
listening.
taking that hearts from you. So many are there. Share it with us.
Only,
I did, yes. I have lots of love to give. Even
Oh,
Shipra has this.
Shipra was
So,
yes, yes. Thank you so much, Shipra and Avijit, for
Thank
being
you.
host.
Thank you so much. We hope to see you all next time as well. So we'll definitely send you the link, the details, and see you soon. Thank you.
thank you.
Have a good
Thank you,
night.
guys.
Have a
Bye
Take
bye.
good
care.
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
night, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.